kindergartners.
How are you today? I hope you're great. We have a fun day in store for you.
Yes, we do.
But before we go, that should be a hint. We're going on a field trip. We need to check in with our zones before we can get ready to go on the field trip. So, take a moment.
Let's do it.
Think about, how are you feeling today? What zone are you in? What does your body feel like? And what do your emotions feel like? Mabel, what zone are you in today? I'm in the green zone.
Oh, good. Why are you in the green zone, Mabel?
Well, I'm really excited to go on the field trip, but I'm really ready to learn too.
Oh, good.
Great. What about you, Miss Oslin?
Oh, it's nice of you to ask, Mabel. I, too, am in the green zone. It was really hot here earlier in TV classroom.
It was.
Mabel, I think it was probably really hot for you, too.
It was.
But it feels better now. I think we have a nice breeze coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm good. Mrs. Wally, how are you?
I'm in the bluey-green zone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really tired. I didn't sleep well last night.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the green zone all day, but
You
it's
have been.
starting to hit me, and I'm
Yeah.
getting tired. So, I'm in the bluey-green zone. But
Okay.
I'm ready to go on a field trip. I'm
Good.
excited. Mr. Kevin, what about you?
Ooh, I'm in the yellow and green zone because I'm ready for the field trip too.
Yeah.
You look really excited.
I am excited.
Should we tell them where we're going?
Yes.
Where are we going, Miss Oslin?
We have the pleasure of going to Alchemy Skate,
Oh,
which
awesome there.
is the only indoor skate park in Tacoma. They
Did you know we have an indoor skate park, friends?
They have ramps, they have half pipes, they have quarter pipes, they have a whole room. We're going to meet Taylor Woodruff, who's the executive director of Alchemy Skate, and he is going to take us on a tour of Alchemy Skate. He's going to talk about how they make their own skateboards.
No way.
Yes.
And then you can rent them if you don't have one and still be able to skateboard.
Mm-hmm. And this is actually, we're going to go for 2 different sessions. The first session, we're going to learn about how skateboards are made.
And how forces are used to make the skateboards.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to learn about trucks and wheels. And how the wheels also determine how fast they go, or what tricks they can do.
Right, so it determines the motion that the forces
Yes.
create.
Yeah.
Then what are we going to do?
Then on the second session, we're actually going to see Taylor do some really cool tricks. And he's going to talk about how forces and motion help him as an athlete to do these tricks.
You mean when you skateboard, you're doing science?
Yes.
Whoa! Shall we go, friends? Next time you see us.
We'll be at Alchemy Skate.
Okay, we'll see you there. Bye, friends.
Hi, Tacoma.
We are here back at Alchemy Skate with Taylor, the executive director. But this time, we're in the indoor skate park, and we learned this is the only indoor skate park in Tacoma.
Yeah.
And we thought maybe Taylor could show us some tricks.
So thinking about how we learned all about how the boards are made, how the trucks are designed, how the wheels are designed, think about how Taylor uses all of that information and knowledge to do his tricks.
And what forces are being applied. You ready for some tricks? Here we go.
Hi, guys.
Hey!
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so we're going to do some skateboarding today, right? Uh-oh. That's unfortunate.
There's the phone. It's okay. Here at the TV classroom, kids
like-
are used to phones ringing in classrooms.
Or it's like when there's a fire drill.
bells.
It all,
It's all good.
it's okay. We can focus.
Focus, friends. Focus.
Unless you need to get it.
No, we're not open today. Trying to train people to know when we're open so they can call when we're closed. But
There we go.
All right. So, what are you going to show us today?
So I was thinking we could talk about just some of the basic tricks. Since we talked so much already last week about wheels and trucks, figure we could show you guys how they work.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Love that.
Are there any tricks you guys want to know more about?
You told us about the ollie last time and about how you use momentum to get the board to appear as if it's sticking to the bottom of your feet, when really it's your feet getting out of the way of the board.
Yeah.
And I would like to see what that looks like.
Perfect. Well, let's start there. We'll break down an ollie into all the little pieces and show you how they come together.
And we're going to sit safely on the couch.
Perfect. All right. So, we're going to start off on the flat ground for the ollie. You can do an ollie on ramps and all sorts of other obstacles. And by you, I mean other people, not me. I like to do my ollies on the ground where I have less area to fall. So, the very first thing of the ollie, if you guys have ever watched skateboarding or heard anyone talk about it, people talk about pop. And pop is that fundamental burst of energy that gets things off the ground. And what pop is the tail of our board popping off the ground. So what I always like to explain is, without even doing the ollie, if we simply step down on that tail, we can see the back wheels lift off the ground.
Yes.
And so that's the basic energy and motion that goes into our ollie, is the pop.
That's quite a bit of force happening there to get those wheels off the ground.
Yeah, and we can experiment with it with our other foot on the ground. And so we can pop and keep our foot on the tail, and the board stays with us. Or if we really want to see how much energy it can create, we can pop and move our foot. And we can see that that board has all kinds of stored up energy in it from when we pressed it and put that shape into it. So once we understand pop and that we're looking to get that tail off of the ground, we can start to think about how we stay with the board. So what we do as we're riding is we practice keeping our weight or our foot on the tail of our board. So anytime we bend our knee, the board goes up. And this is a really fundamental skill to get used to, is leaning forward and back on those wheels, almost like it's a fulcrum. So we want to get comfortable with that. And we'll notice that we're not leaning forward or backward. We're letting our knees do all of that work for us so we can stay stationary, straighten the leg to go down. So when it comes time to do the ollie, I mentioned timing is everything. We can pop the board really hard, but if we're standing on it, it's not going to go anywhere. We can jump really high off the board, but if we don't pop the tail, the board's not going to go anywhere. So we need to mix all of those things together. And what we do is bend that front knee and get our pop. And as soon as that tail hits the ground, we're actually jumping off the back foot. And so that's the basic parts of the ollie. But what happens a lot of times as we do that is we pop at this angle and the board comes up at a steep angle. So the way we get around that and make it more manageable to land is, after we pop and jump, our front foot actually slides forward. And what that does is it pushes the nose down, which gives us more height on our ollie, and it levels out our skateboard.
Yeah,
So
you apply a different force and it levels it out.
exactly. It's about initiate, respond, and ride away. Which sounds easy on paper, but of course, getting all that timing together perfectly takes a lot of practice and a lot of falling down. So
That's why I'm not getting on a board.
should we go ahead and try an ollie?
Yes.
Yes, please do.
Yes, you should.
So we'll just start with a real small ollie, just a little bit of pop. And so again, it looks like the board's coming up with my feet, but in reality, I'm initiating, jumping, and that board's just chasing me up into the air. And so a lot of times, a stationary ollie where we're not moving can actually be harder than an ollie when we're moving, because we're generating all of this downward force. It comes up, we kick it forward, and then we're supposed to land in the same spot. So we always recommend practice both. Try a stationary ollie and then try one where you're moving around a little bit.
So I noticed in here, you have all different types of ramps and surfaces.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and why they're that way and what that does to the motion of the board when you're
I'm
riding
glad you asked, because ollies are a lot of work for me or whoever's riding. We have to generate all of that power on our own. My favorite thing to skateboard is ramps, because I let gravity do that for me. I work with the forces of gravity, ride down things, and it's a lot less work for me. So let's take a quick walk around and I'll just point out the different types of ramps.
it? All right, Mr. Kevin, go take.
So obviously it's important to have some flat ground. We've got a nice concrete floor here to work on flat ground tricks like those ollies or shove-its or kick flips. But again, as I mentioned, my favorite thing is ramps. So we've got bank ramps. That is these long, flat, inclined surfaces. And those are great for beginners because they give you some speed, but they're not as steep or difficult to learn as a quarter pipe, which is right over here. So if we think about, we're gonna do some ramp math. If we think about a whole pipe, one whole circle, if we cut that in half, we have a half pipe. If we cut that half pipe in half again, we have a quarter pipe. So we can see it's a big quarter section of a pipe. So it's not a straight up and down like our bank. That's called the radius. And so different ramps of different heights have different radiuses that make them steeper or mellower. Like for instance, our vert wall has a very tight radius. It's a very steep ramp that goes right up into the wall, as opposed to this big mellow quarter pipe that's less steep. And then of course, there's the height of the ramp. So the taller your ramp is, the more speed you're gonna get off of it. And that's why we have beginner ramps over here, smaller banks, smaller quarter pipes to get your basics. And then of course, as I mentioned earlier, our half pipe over here that you can go back and forth and keep that momentum up on. So as a follow-up from last week, let's take a look at our trucks and we're gonna see how these trucks turn. If you remember, last time we talked about the bushings, these little rubber inserts that let us lean from side to side. And so that's called carving. And what it looks like as we're riding, if I put weight on my toes, I will turn that direction. If I put weight on my heels, I turn that direction. So we can see that those carves are big, wide, sloping turns. But there's one other way to turn. Because those carves are limited, we can't turn really tight. The other way to use our trucks to turn is called a kick turn. And what a kick turn is it's similar to the ollie in that we're using our front knee. What we do is we actually wind up our shoulders. We always point our front shoulder where we want to turn. So if I want to turn towards you, I'm going to point my shoulder, and when I bend my knee, you can watch what happens to the skateboard. It follows my shoulder wherever I point it. So if I point my shoulder this way and bend my knee, it follows it. If I point it this way, it follows it. If I wind up really big and let go, it follows it. So kick turns and carves are the two different ways that you can learn to turn your board and steer and head towards ramps or avoid ramps if that's not what you want to skate.
So Taylor, you talked about how there's a the steepness of the ramp matters and the curvature of the ramp. So can you talk more about the half pipe, which as I learned is half of a pipe? I didn't ever put that connection together. So could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so one thing that's real important when we think about designing our ramps and building them is how are they going to get used? And so for a half pipe, a good half pipe should be the same transition on both sides for the most part. We can always add in a little something special, but you want it to be consistent on the left side and the right side, and that's for a few reasons. You want to be able to maintain your speed. If you have a really mellow side, you're not going to have enough speed to get up the other side. So generally speaking, a good half pipe, both sides are the same height and the same radius so that it's consistent and smooth. Of course, we can always add extensions like we've done here, where you build up a little taller so you have an area for some more speed or a more skilled rider can do tricks on. But in general, we want them to be proportioned the same so that we can go back and forth and keep our momentum up.
So do different half pipes have a different amount of steepness to the radius of them?
Yes. So almost every half pipe, there's a lot of standards where people will use the same formula because they like the way it feels. But every ramp builder and every park is designed differently for different types of riders, beginners, intermediate, and advanced. So generally, The steeper and taller it is, the better it is for advanced riders. They can get more speed and they can go higher in the air. That, of course, makes it scarier and harder for beginners to learn on because they're towering structures with really big drop-offs. So it's a good thing to have a variety of different styles because you'll get better at skating all of them the more you practice on different ramps.
That makes sense.
You want to ride for us and show us?
We could do a little riding, yeah.
Okay, let's watch. I noticed the steepness when you went over to the really steep part. How like, whoa, you were super steep and almost looked like you're gonna fall off.
Yeah, so the steepness is a little harder to get up, but it gives us a lot more speed coming back. And the other thing I think about with our ramps, if they're the same on both sides, keeping that speed, it's a lot like being on a swing set. If you need more speed, learning how to pull on the chain. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a cut. I'm too exhausted. I can't do it. So one thing that's really fun to work on practicing on our mini ramps or our half pipes is keeping up our speed. And it's really similar if you guys have ever been on a swing set. When you're swinging back and forth and you want a little more speed and power, we know we pull on the chain at the right time and that propels us even faster. It's the exact same principle on our half pipe, only we don't have chains to pull, we have our knees. So as you're riding back and forth, if you bend your knees going up and push off the wall, extending your knees as you come down, you generate speed back and forth. So as you get used to where and how hard to pump, you'll realize you're getting more speed. If we don't bend our knees at all, we don't get any speed and it looks like this. Not a bad time, but not particularly fun. If we start to bend our knees, we'll see a lot of speed coming out of nowhere. And that speed is gonna help you go up and over the lip, do your trick, turn around, come down, and do it again.
So when you apply force in the right direction, you get more
At the right
speed.
time.
Ah.
That's the equation, timing plus force. If you push at the wrong time,
You slow
it's
down.
not gonna give you speed.
Yeah.
If you time out that push right at the right moment where you're switching directions, you go a lot faster.
And if you don't push, you just go back and forth at the same speed until the friction of the wheel stops you.
Exactly.
Now, if we had wheels with no friction, you'd probably just go forever until you jumped off.
If you could do that, I would probably be winded after about 5
Yeah, probably. Wow, that's amazing. Now, one thing I noticed, you have these metal pipes along the edge of the half pipes and all of these ramps. Why do we have these metal pipes?
So these metal pipes, they're actually called coping because skaters have amazing coping skills. We can get through anything. And the reason we have these metal pipes is it's durable. It's gonna hold up to wear and tear as we do tricks. This is called the lip of the ramp, where the ramp stops and turns into the deck. And there's all kinds of tricks, like I was doing axle stalls or rock and rolls, that utilize this round metal either to pause on our board or to get up and actually grind. So metal is a great material because it's gonna hold up to the metal on our trucks and we can use it for years on end without needing to replace it.
Wow. So can you tell us a little bit about this community space for Tacoma people?
Yeah, so we were founded officially in 2014, but we started working on this project in 2011. We held a big skate event and actually decriminalized skating in Tacoma because up until that point, you could get a ticket just for riding a skateboard. Since then, we realized that skateboarding was a really good tool to teach all kinds of different things, whether it's physics, art and design, or even just how to find a community that you enjoy getting along with. And so that's really become our mission here, is just being a space that young people, adults, anyone who's interested can come learn about skateboarding, practice it, and make friends.
It's an amazing place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to visit here with Oliver and our
yes.
neighbors.
Yes.
Are you excited for your boys to come visit here?
I am, and when there's not a camera, I might even put a helmet on and try it myself.
I was gonna say, once your arm's healed up, we'll come back for
Oh, you don't
week
want me
3 and we're gonna do a skate lesson.
Sounds good. All right. Wow.
Taylor, thank you so much for sharing your amazing space with us, for sharing all of your knowledge, for getting us excited about forces and motion and more community partnerships for our students here in Tacoma.
Amazing. I'm so excited. So, did you think of an affirmation for today?
I think that it's important for all of us to remind ourselves that we're a member of our Tacoma community and that we all belong and we're all important to Tacoma and the community members around us.
I had another one too, that I can be brave, because to be able to do this, you'd have to be brave.
You'd have to be brave.
At the beginning.
I think more important than bravery is being okay failing.
Oh, that's an even better
That's
one.
a
That's how
better
we get
one.
better at skateboarding. Is
I
we're
am
professional
okay.
failures. We
I
do
am
it all the
okay
time.
with failing.
I am okay with failing because we really only fail if we don't try again,
Mhm.
Right. And the only way we learn is by making mistakes.
right?
Right? The only way you and I have learned this year is by making lots of
Lots of
mistakes in the
mistakes.
TV classroom. And it's really okay. We're fine. It happens. That's how you learn and grow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I am okay with failing.
Yeah. I
Let's
think
all
that's a
take
good one.
Take our deep breath together.
I am
okay with failing.
Excellent job today, Tacoma. We hope you have a great rest of your day. And
We'll see you next time on the TV classroom. Bye, friends.
Good day, young aviators. Did you know that we live in an amazing state? Not only is Washington famous for its spectacular scenery, but did you know that Washington State is famous for making airplanes? So today, we will be using our arms' muscular strength to fly around Washington State and see how beautiful it is. All you have to do is put your arms out when the bald eagle takes off from her totem pole and keep them flapping until she makes it back to her totem pole safely. Now, your arms might get a little tired, but that's okay. That's how we build our muscular endurance. Don't stop flapping until you land. Have a great flight.